we are looking at assessment objective 2 and A03. A02 is the main one. Okay, so you're going to be refining work, exploring ideas, selecting and experimenting with appropriate media, materials, techniques, and processes. So this page will show all of them things. It will show you choosing the right image. So if you took 10 photographs, you choose a certain image where you're selecting that, and hopefully that's the best image. You're experimenting with the appropriate media. That's probably going to come from the artist, but equally, if you improve on that idea, if you do one version and you develop it further, then that will also help that. And I'll show you some examples of that. A03, as we know, is recording. So you're going to record observations and insights relevant to intentions as work progresses. So as you know, that can be through annotation, which you'll include on these pages, but also visual, which again, these pages are great for. So we're hitting 2 assessment objectives. Remember, work is marked as a whole, so this one piece is not worth 24 marks, but if you consistently do this throughout, you're going to get more marks in that assessment objective. Okay, so here's the first example, and I thought this was a really good example. This person is going to make a comic book. He's looking at the artist Yusaki Murato, and he's going to design a character. So this person began by taking a series of primary images. So you can see them there. He actually took more, but I've just chosen a few. He's chosen the middle pose because I think he liked the way that he was looking at the camera, the particular position of his head. So that's the image he's chosen. So if we look back here, we can see selecting. Okay, so we selected the appropriate image, the one that he feels is the most appropriate, and his annotation will explain that idea. You can then see here his process. Okay, so you can see initially he starts off with a really simple sketch. So again, he's recording work progressing. Okay, so we can see how it started. He developed it further, until we end up with the final outcome. I can also link it back here. So actually, it's also hitting A01 because it's showing understanding of sources. Okay, so the source here is the artist. This is the artist's work. This is his outcome. We can see that he's used colours from the artist. He's got the same shape eyes, the mouth, the nose, and the most important thing is the use of shadow. If you look at this example here, this is just a coloured version. We could argue that it looks like the artist, but it's not super skillful. So if it ended here, then this would be a nice piece. It'd probably be a grade 4, a low grade 4, but by adding all the shadow, it pushes it up to grade 6, maybe in the low grade 7. We can then read through all the annotation, and it talks through its process. So this is a really good page that shows me development, makes links to contextual links, shows you experimenting with appropriate media. Look at the next one, is another great example. This is probably a grade 7, maybe hitting a grade 8 as well. So we can see here, this person is going to design characters for a children's book. She's looking at the artist Kathy Diaz, and again we can see the inspiration. So she took more images of her sister, but I've just chosen the 2 that she uses. She's done a close-up, which is going to help her design the face, and she's done another image, which is looking at the pose. You can see the pose is influenced here, and you can then see her process. You can see it starts off a simple drawing, she refines the line, she adds the base colour, and then she refines it adding shadow. Okay, I've condensed this. This was over a number of pages, so just to kind of show you, there's no reason why you can't spread it over multiple pages. Then we have the final outcome here. Okay, so you see it in large. There's a lot of annotation. There's annotation here that's explaining this process, which I'll talk about in a minute, and there's annotation here that's explaining this process and the final outcome. What I think is really good about this one, and why this one's a little bit more successful, is you can see that she's considered really small details, the eyes. Okay, you can see that she's experimented with different colours: blue highlight, yellow highlight, original without the white, without highlighting, and a white background. And then she links it to the artist. So the artist she's looking at has slightly different kind of drawing style for each character. So she's trying that out, trying to work out what looks best for her character. And as you can see, she's chosen, I'm not quite sure which one it is, but it will say it in the annotation there. Again, she's making the links to her contextual source. And again, as I said, the artist has slightly different drawing styles. She's kind of based it mainly on this one here. Okay, so again, really quick, I see loads and loads of information in this page that shows me how this piece, which is the final outcome, got developed. In the same way, this piece here is the final outcome. So you would have this A3, but then you've also got this page before it, and the same thing here, we'd have this printed A3, and then we've got this page that really shows you the process. The best way I can describe this is, if we have a piñata, we know that there is 50 sweets in the piñata. If you just tap it, you might get 5 sweets out, and they are equivalent to 5 marks. I know that a lot of work's gone into making this piece, but if all I see is this, okay, I can only give you marks for that. But when I see all of this work that's gone into it, I can give you a lot more marks. So I've hit it a bit harder than the piñata. There's 15 sweets on the floor now, and I can give you 15 marks. That doesn't mean that the quality of the work is not as good. You could have a piece of work that is superb quality, but if I don't see the development, I cannot give you them marks. Another example, okay, this one's probably not got as much development, but it's still got some good development. We can see the artist's inspiration. We can see the setup, which I thought was quite nice. You can see he's using Copic markers, fine liners, pencils, and paper. So again, he hasn't really had to tell me that. I can see that by looking at it. We've got a pose that's used for the character, and then we have the final outcome. So again, this is a little bit more simplistic, but it's still showing me the development. It's a black and white manga comic, and it's based on the artist Ichiro Oda. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but you can see that there. And again, I can see the links to the materials he's used, because I can clearly see that's Copic. See the fine lines are the fine liner marks. Again, it's a good example. This is going to get more marks. This is probably going to be like a grade 6. It's showing me some of the development, but there's other stages that unfortunately I'm not seeing here.